Hi everybody, it's Owen Blockchain and I'm coming to you from Consensus 22 with our very famous Ben. How are you doing, Ben?
Doing good, glad to be here.
Yeah, it's so good to see you. We actually met at Consensus in
19?
Yeah, it's
way
crazy.
Back.
Crazy.
You know what's crazy is like how much all the people that were around back then, how much we're all doing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to see how far all of us have came in the different areas where we were, creating content or, other people in different areas. It's really cool. I love reconnecting with people from many years ago because it's so cool to see success.
I agree, and I'm very proud of you, what you're doing in this space. I think it's amazing, and you keep going, you know what I mean? Just creating that content and coming up with new things and diversifying and growing.
We're just getting started.
That's true. What I'm curious about maybe is like how you've been scaling. So I think a lot of people know about what you do and the coins you talk about, but I'm interested in like, as a person, how you feel since I met you till now, how you've scaled and how that's been going for you.
Well, I think first, there's been a big transition for me kind of as a person in crypto because, I bought Bitcoin first in 2012, but it was really 2017 I started getting into altcoins. And you're just so bullish because you see all the potential of decentralization and these utility coins. And then you see like in 2020, a lot of them start moving up, and now a lot of them are already bust. And so you really got to get to a point where you mature. I think you start looking pretty much at the top coins. That's what we do on my channel for the most part. Top 20 coins is about where we stick. As far as scalability goes, I hired my first employee, I guess, probably the very beginning of 2020, and now we have 60. And we have a 40,000 square foot studio. So for me, scaling is all about getting a good system. And I'm always able to tell all the people that work with me, like, remember, I used to do your job. I used to do it all by myself. And you slowly but surely start adding one person here, one person there, one person here. And then before you know, you've got a really dynamic team, and you've got really creative people, and you're able to push much further. And I think that, one thing that people constantly run up to when it comes to scaling in the content creation space is it's always easier to do things yourself at first because there's a large learning curve, and when you're having to teach someone how to do something, it's almost like you're having to do twice the work because you're still having to go behind them and do it, and then you're also teaching them, and it kind of sucks the life out of you. And so if you can just get through those beginning stages where you're scaling and learning, like, I really have to let go and delegate and let people do what they're going to do, and I do what I'm good at, which is talking about crypto, and then we all scale together. So
that's amazing. So it sounds like basically a lot of it is patience, of being there with the people, but also empathy, because you have to realize you've been there, you've done it, and you keep reminding them of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something like we had a team meeting, I guess, probably about a month ago, and there were a lot of my employees that they weren't around when I started the channel. They may not have even been into crypto, and so we had a meeting. I basically told everybody, like, remember, I know right now it's a bear market. Things are hard. Videos aren't getting as many views. We're not getting as much bang for our buck. But I went through this before in 2019, and I really built while things were down. And there's a constant kind of recycling going on in the crypto space where there's a time where you're planting, there's a time where you're watering and growing, and there's a time when you're harvesting. And right now, it's not the harvesting time. And this is the hard time, and helping people to understand that this is normal, we've been through this before, this is the time you really got to grind and move forward. That's a really comforting message to those people.
Well, yeah, and I think it's amazing how many people still are here today, compared to the last time I saw you, right? Yeah. So it's a bear market, but it's like, so many more people are still here, so many people still flew in here.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers we see it in our meetups. We draw more people at our meetups. We'll have anywhere between 500 and 800 people just to meet up at a random city. That's more than crypto conferences were getting, period. Back in 2017, 2018, 2019. Me and my business partner, TJ, we make a lot of jokes about going to conferences in 2019, and there would be like 30 people there. There was nobody. And so to see the people, it's kind of like every time we have one of these market cycles, we bring more people in who understand it's not just about making money. Yes, we all want to make money. Everybody, if you're in this space for a long time, you will do well financially, but it's about the message of what crypto is and the decentralization and basically moving the world forward and just the evolution of technology and understand that is really big.
And how do you find that you also balance your life? Because you're doing so much, you've been doing so much.
Mm-hmm. So I have a whole life, this is really shocking to people, I have a whole life outside of crypto. I coach a travel baseball team. I'm with my family a lot. I come to these conferences, but I got to leave out this afternoon on Friday because I've got stuff with my kids this weekend. So I always put my family first. I think that's to me, like to hear Elon Musk talk. Elon Musk always says, like, no, work comes before family. That's why he's got a lot of failed relationships. Like, I can't stand that. I think you put your family first no matter what, and you've got to keep that balanced, and then that helps you keep recharged and rejuvenated to be able to continue on in your business. So my family understands that, I generally work like 9 to 6 every day, and then I come home, and then we're at the ballpark or doing other things. We're on vacation this month. We're going to Disney World. I think keeping that work-life balance is extremely important, and I think that's a big part of my success. Like, if it wasn't for my wife that's so supportive of the fact that I do all that I do, then it would never work. So.
That's amazing. I love to hear that, and I love that message, because I think you're right. We're living in a world that's pretty imbalanced, so we have to find balance somewhere.
Absolutely.
And recharging our batteries.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the message you want to send right now to the audience in terms of the market? Like, what do you want to leave it off with?
To the moon! No, I'm just kidding. I think I really preach on my channel about the Bitcoin Fourier cycles. So far, they've been dead on based on Bitcoin halving. We basically see, after the halving event, we get 1.5 years of parabolic action, 1 year dramatic drop, 1.5 years of slow come up. Right now, we're in the 1 year of the big drop. And so right now, people should not necessarily be expecting Bitcoin to bottom anytime soon, probably by the end of the year. And this is the hardest time, because even after Bitcoin bottoms, it will probably slowly move up, and that's when people start giving up on the market. So my big encouragement to people is just don't give up. For those of us that have been through multiple market cycles and multiple bear markets, it comes back. You can't have all the institutional interest that we have right now. You can't have the regulation coming in without people understanding this is going to be here for a long time. And I think that's the big mistake a lot of people make during these times. They start thinking, I really believed in this, but the prices are down, so maybe it's not going to be what it's going to be. It's kind of like we were talking about in content creation, the recycling of, time to plant, time to grow, time to harvest. And right now is the planting time, and that's where you should really be looking to accumulate.
I love it. And for anybody who's like new and may not know you, how can they connect with you?
Yeah. So if you look up BitBoy Crypto, you'll find me. I'm really easy to find. We have about 1.45 million subscribers on YouTube. We've got 6 million total social media followers between Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and some other accounts. So we're really easy to find, but also I'll never contact you, so be careful. We have a lot of impersonators out there. You got to be really careful for people asking, pretending to be a content creator or an influencer and saying, hey, come invest with me. That's always a scam. So.
And where would you encourage people to start?
Well, we have a website called BitLab Academy, so bitlabacademy.com. This is it ranges courses from beginner all the way to expert. Is dynamic, so we're adding new courses every single month and constantly trying to make the product better. So that's a good place to go start if you want to get into crypto and kind of learn the basics. We're actually starting a pre-beginner course, because what we found is even the beginner courses can be a little much for people. So we're trying to constantly dial it in and making sure it's giving the most benefit to the most people.
And I like that, and I think that's part of your success, is making it so accessible and so real and bringing in your personality. That's what helps people connect to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. My mom always told me I was special.
There you go. And thank you so much. It's so good to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you as well.
Awesome.